welcome back to the podcast, Indra. So excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I love seeing your face. I miss you
Yeah.
so much.
Yes, I miss
I
you
know.
too.
We
It's
get
so
little
lovely.
glimpses of each other in
I know.
social media
Like in
and
passing, like here and
right.
there, it's like, oh, there's Indra.
Yeah. And then like little messages, text messages, but it's always
Yes,
so nice to connect with you.
it always is. And I think we always have such a fun time having these conversations. So it was time for us to have another conversation.
Yeah.
So fun, fun. So it's exciting. I see all the things that you're doing now, and like, I just love how to watch how we evolve over time. And I
Right.
know that one of the things that you've been talking a lot about is triggers and how our triggers kind of are signals of what we need, what needs to be seen in our life. So when you think about being triggered, what does that actually look like in real life for you? Or what are you seeing that has led you to kind of start focusing?
Okay. So it's, that the phrase that I came up with was like triggered to alignment.
Hmm.
Right. And so when we feel triggered, when we get that little something that makes us feel a little uncomfortable in our body. Maybe our thoughts aren't in alignment with who we are. And I say that like triggers are like little signals, right? They're like little ways of bringing attention to something that isn't either quite healed or maybe it feels like that there could be like more work around it, right? Because when they do show up, when a trigger does show up for you, it's just kind of tapping you on the shoulder, like, okay, like this doesn't feel good, but like there's a way to make it feel good. There's a way to change that. And that's how I created the triggered to alignment, is that these triggers are not bad. They're not, oh, like anger triggers or, like people like put like such like a, like a little dark cloud around that. Triggers are actually really helpful. They're just little signals that remind us of what we need to work on and like where we need to put our attention to kind of guide us back into alignment. And when I say alignment like that, I mean like bring us back to ourselves, bring us back to like our true essence of who we are. We're all creating this person that we're becoming, right? We're evolving and we're growing and we're learning, we're healing, we're doing all of the work to get us there. And our triggers are just it's a little part of it.
So what would that can you give us some examples of what that might look like? If somebody's listening to it and going, well, what is what does that tap on the shoulder feel like? Like is it, like what are
Yeah.
some examples of like triggers that people could like identify?
Okay. So some examples might be I don't know, disappointment. This has been one that has come up a couple of times with a few different people. I kind of feel actually like maybe this is like a new trigger that is like kind of surfacing lately for a lot of people. And with disappointment, it's feeling like you're disappointing others when when you feel like you're not showing up, right? So we have these expectations already on ourselves. And someone may say something to you that might trigger that emotion that you have, right? Of disappointing somebody. So, and it's not necessarily them, like, I guess, like going out of their way to trigger you, right? So it's not about, throwing a fit and having being anger. I mean, those are some triggers, right? Of and the reaction to them. But for most people, let's just say it's like more of like common ground, right? This is a feeling that we all have. No one wants to disappoint anyone, but it does show up for us. And having these moments are just like little glimpses, little signals of how we can correct that, how we can kind of fix that, and realizing that we aren't disappointing other people, right? And we got to take the disappointment back and we start peeling the onion, and it's like the expectations that surround it. Well, who has the expectations? Is it them or is it you? And where does this disappointment live? So it's about healing that mindset of the idea of what disappointment means to you, and really getting back to self and trying to heal it from that perspective.
So the trigger really is more of a like an internal thing then. I guess what I'm saying is I worked once with a woman who would tell me, I need you to take away all my triggers. And what she meant by that was like everybody that's triggering me, you need to be the gateway between them and me. And I was like, my understanding of triggers is very different. So she was getting triggered left and right. And she was telling me it's everybody around me. That what you're telling me feels more like, okay, this trigger came up. So let's go inward.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, so we have like I guess like, triggers are they go both ways, right? So it's like everyone, who's triggering you, like the woman, right?
Mhm.
But also like the triggers are kind of like in you also. They live in you. So it's very easily to point the finger and be like, oh Sonia, you trigger me when you say this specific word. But it's my stuff.
Mhm.
There's a reason why when you say a word, it triggers something in me, not you. You just found it, right? You
Yeah.
found,
Yeah, people are just mirroring back to us,
they're
right?
just
People
marrying
are
back
our
to us.
mirrors. People are just a reflection of our own beliefs, our
Hmm.
own stuff, our own, all the things, right? When we judge other people or speak badly about other people, it really is our own internal beliefs and
Right.
patterns of things that we believe, right? And
Yeah.
that's an unhealed stuff, right? Wounding that needs
Wounding.
attention. So, yeah.
Yeah,
I
and it's
think
interesting too because, like, I'll have clients that come to me, for this program of mine, and they don't know exactly what it is, but they're just feeling really unsettled in their body, and they may say like, "Oh, I don't feel heard at home," or "My relationship is on the rocks because this, that, and this," right? So they're trying to figure it out. So what I do is like in our first or and second session, I'm going in with them and I'm asking the questions. And now we're getting down to it. And we're finding the trigger. We're finding that discomfort. And that's where the magic is because they didn't know what it was. They had a hard time pinpointing it for themselves. So automatically you think it's the other person that's triggering you. So now we're like, okay, well, we're getting to the energy of it. Where is it? And it's in us. It lives in us. It's bringing up something that needs a little healing work. And so that's the cool
yeah.
part.
Yeah, that is really cool. I do love that. I do love experiencing that for myself. When I do that for myself and going in and really getting really honest with myself and looking
Yeah.
inwards and like, okay, where's this coming from? And then doing that deep work and unraveling it and like you said, peeling those layers off and then being like, oh,
Whoa.
this is where it comes from. It is some magic for sure. So how do you heal those when you're working with clients? How do you heal those wounds or those triggers that are coming? Once you like peel back the layers and you identify it, what is your method for healing?
Okay. So because I'm energy healer and also psychic medium and I do all of that work. And I also do intuitive coaching too. So I teach people how to call in these intuitive abilities and how to teach them how to connect. So what I've managed magically to marry both, like the practical and the woo, right? So the intuitive part. And so I get in and I do what I call it's like an energetic assessment. So I'm going in, I'm asking the questions, and we're going through all of the, peeling of the layers. And then we find the gold. And so then from there, intuitively, I go in and now I'm connecting with their guides and stuff and connecting with the guides. And we're going to try and work through this together. And it's not me just doing the work on my end. also my client doing the work on their end. So we're doing some intuitive work together. And it's a beautiful collaboration. And there's a lot of aha moments. And when you can really start holding that accountability and like, and being brave to go inward and say, yeah, that seems right. And also offering tools. So I offer, tools for them to do, like, some homework, some soul work, right? And asking the hard questions, and a lot of these questions don't even come from me, they're coming from their guides. So we're asking the tough questions. And asking them, okay, I want you, when we have a week between sessions, I want you to journal on this and really sit with yourself and ask yourself these questions. And the questions are pretty profound. They are. They're about trust. They're about finding your truth. They're about meeting your trigger, meeting that discomfort, and really asking yourself, like, where does this sit in my body? And why does this feel this way? And what is the connection with this person and this trigger? So we're really diving in deep and we're really, really going into it. And it is such a beautiful process to see the beginning of, I have this feeling, it makes me uncomfortable. This is my trigger, so to speak, right? And then realizing that wasn't the trigger, it's something else. And then going from that and really healing that part. And that's where the magic is. We think it's one thing, it's really another. And the other is what's most connected to us, I think. It's that little signal that is really most connected.
That's beautiful. I love that. Yeah, the deep work, I love all of I love all of that stuff. When somebody heals that trigger, what can they expect, right? Like okay, they heal the trigger, what can they expect their life to look like? What can they I'm sure they'll feel better, but it's always interesting to me the ripple effect that of that doing the work, like we like to call it, doing the
Right.
work and doing the healing stuff. It's always beautiful to watch the ripple effect that it has on all the different areas of your life. What do you see? Or what can you share with us? What can like somebody expect to experience after that healing has begun or has completed?
Well, it's that, when I said it's like those aha moments, right? So all of a sudden they have clarity and then they're like taking ownership that this is like their feeling, right? So then it's just naturally healing the relationships they have with the outside people that they thought might have been triggering them. So now we're healing outside relationships. We're healing a relationship within ourselves too. And when we do all of that, we start leading a life a little bit differently because there's a new viewpoint. The healing has happened, the veil has lifted, and or the mask or whatever it is. And now we're stepping into our alignment. We're stepping into our true selves. And we're not holding resentments to everybody else, maybe including ourselves, with these triggers that we thought that we had, because we've managed to heal that little part in us that made that trigger so much bigger than what it really is. So with past clients, yes, they're no longer holding resentments to their partners, or they're not feeling less than, right? As a parent or, as an employer, like they're not feeling that I'm less than or I'm disappointing you or whatever that is. They're also letting go of, I had another client too. She had like a little bit of teenage angst in her. And once we started to heal that part of her, she started to approach opportunities and life in a different way. There was no more fight and there was no more push and pull. It was more of like a surrendering moment of like, okay, I don't need to have this teenage angst anymore that's going to protect me. I'm going to lean into these opportunities and really show up as myself.
Mm.
So it's
That's
really
really
beautiful.
cool. Like, the
Yeah,
picture that I'm seeing as you're saying this, it's almost as if it's almost as if you're walking around with, like, the wrong programming, or, like, old dated programming, and
it's
then
old dated. Yeah, that's it.
yeah, and you're going in to, like, update that programming, so then you're gonna show up as this different version, So that's, like, one way, and the other thing that I saw was almost as if removing, like, these masks of because you had this programming, you kinda had, like, this mask as this persona you were showing up as, but as you start to peel off those, like, layers and do the healing and lift the veil and all that, it's almost as if that mask is falling off and now you're, like, showing up differently. That's kinda just, like, the
Yeah,
visual
yeah.
that I got. That's so cool. That's really cool. I love that.
Or, like when, Joey shows up with all of those clothes in that Friends episode, and he's got, like, all of his clothes from his closet or something, and we, like, just pile everything on because we don't wanna let it all go, we were like, we're
Mhm,
holding on tight.
mhm.
But now we've gotta, like, okay, we can, like, let this jacket go, we can let this shirt go, and it just becomes lighter, and when it's
Yeah.
lighter, I think you just feel, like, just more in stride, right? Just
Mhm.
more in
More
flow, more
more
authentic,
authentic, more like
right?
the real you, more what I see also this doing is almost like a maybe breaking patterns.
Yeah,
Is what I'm thinking. Like you have a pattern of doing or reacting in a certain way or showing up in a certain way, and then this can like repattern uh, that. I wonder what other things I'm like now I'm all, like excited. Like what other things could this look like? If we're talking about breaking patterns,
right?
uh, or
Yeah, it's breaking patterns, our patterns, we can see them and we can feel them. And we know when our patterns aren't working, right? Because now we're starting to get agitated when we're in them and we see that it's not working. So, one that comes to mind, let's say, dating patterns, right?
mm,
And you in your
it's a good one.
pattern. And yeah, and so you're following your lead and maybe it's self-sabotaging or something. And I like this one. This was another client. So, the pattern of, giving away your worth, right? Or, I'm sorry, it was, just feeling really, really depleted and resentful because you give more than you are actually receiving. But when it came down to it, she was showing value by overgiving. And so we started to peel that. So instead of feeling like, why do I always pick the wrong guy? I'm always giving, 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 and I feel depleted, and now I'm angry, and now they're gone. It's like, okay, well, let's start peeling that away. And the pattern was that she was showing up with over giving to show value, right?
Because she wasn't I'm guessing, what's coming to me is because she wasn't valuing herself,
She wasn't
right? She was
validating
putting
herself.
the value on the things she was doing for this person, but
Look how
instead of
great I am because I can show up in these
like
ways for you
yeah,
and do
wow.
these things for you and give these things to you, right? But then she needed to come back to herself. So now we're working with self-worth
Mhm,
and her own value
mhm,
and coming back to herself and
wow,
putting this beautiful person back on her own pedestal. Right? So
that's really
it went from being angry to I feel resentful. I'm dating and I'm all the patterns, right? The pattern. But then we had to, okay, pull it back and start really figuring it out. And now, it's like the dating is good, the pattern is gone, and she's
that's
living.
really cool, and I would imagine that there's not just, like, this sense of relief and more lightness. I mean, like, I'm trying to I would imagine this would affect I'm always looking at, like, the ripple effect of all the things, I
Yeah,
would
I
imagine
that's why I love talking to you so much.
this would, like, have a ripple effect into all other areas of life also, and what that might do for your self-confidence.
it goes so far beyond, right? So it does go so much into the confidence, right? And your value and your self-worth and how you're going to show up now. Now that you've recognized this pattern, you've recognized this belief that you've had, and now we've transmuted it into this like beautiful, just I don't know, just this beautiful energy of yours that you get to show up now as, and
Right.
it's healing, and it's really something to be so proud of too once you get to the other side.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, can you imagine? I mean, that's beautiful. You're proud of it. You're confident. You show up differently. And I would imagine that this then does wonders for like the manifestation, right?
That's
Like what
it.
you're going to call into your life now.
Yeah, because now, and you and I have done a lot of manifestation work with each other,
Hmm.
but now we're taking out those patterns, right? We're healing and we're coming back to like a wholeness and alignment and feeling really good. And so when we're feeling good about ourselves, when we believe that we are worthy of receiving these manifestations, then they start to come in. But when we don't believe, so, back to the woman with dating, is that she didn't believe that she was worthy of receiving, right? So now we're changing that whole mindset. So now not only is she healing, a trigger or a pattern, but now she's coming back into her own, and by coming back into her own, knowing her self-worth, knowing her value, she's stepping into the world totally different because she believes all this stuff within her because she's healed it. And now she's able to call in that partner, right? And call in that life, call in that job, call in, whatever it is that she wants to call in, because now she really believes that she's worthy of it, that she holds value and she can
Yeah.
hold that manifestation.
Mhm. Yeah, it goes back to clearing those blocks, right? That's how I work it in my, in my approach, but it's basically a similar,
Mhm.
it's a similar thing basically. It's like clearing those blocks basically that are blocking I call them blocks because
Yeah,
they're blocking your manifestation.
you
When
are.
we're
Yeah,
specifically talking manifestation, it's interesting because you're we're kind of talking the same language,
we
and
totally are.
it's kind of like the same process, but we're reverse engineering it, right? Like, I work with people to like create their manifestations. It's like, okay, well, let's go back and find the block, the trigger, whatever you want to call it,
Whatever it is.
the wound that needs to be healed and reprogrammed. And
Yeah.
you're approaching it from the other end, like, oh, there's these triggers in it. You're feeling yucky, and so you're healing it, and then leading them. Basically, it's the same path. It's just how you're taking them there.
Exactly.
That's so cool.
We're going from point A to point B. We
Yeah.
may call it different things,
Right.
but we're peeling away,
Yeah.
right? We're peeling away so we can get to the gold.
Mhm. Oh, that's so cool.
Isn't that
I
so
love
cool?
it. I love it. That's
Yeah.
so cool. So tell me how like your program works. Okay, so you recently created this program. Tell me more about it.
So I recently created it. It was, I think it was like two other things before it came to be what it is.
Mhm.
And I was in bed one night and I was just thinking, and I was thinking about this program. And my guides came through that night, and the next morning I woke up and it was like this aha moment. I was like, "The name needs to change and it needs to be this." And I immediately, like, jumped out of bed and it was like, straight to work.
Mhm.
And this name, Triggered to Alignment, had always just stuck with me. For some reason, I just loved it. And I started a Substack and I was like, "I'm gonna write." And I haven't written much.
Mhm.
But I loved this name, Triggered to Alignment. I was like, "This is it." And that morning I woke up and I was like, "I'm changing this program because this isn't," like you said, we constantly we're like evolving and changing and
Mhm.
growing. So naturally, if I am, my programs are as well. And I changed it, and gosh, when it first started, it was about anxiety, and I remember telling it's our good friend Monica. I remember
Yes.
telling Monica, who was helping me with this business idea. I was like, "My anxiety program's giving me anxiety." And she started laughing. I am like, "Monica, I don't know if I could do this." Um, but it was so funny, and it was definitely she I love making her laugh. She's so funny. But so then it became something else, and I wasn't excited about it. It was lovely, but it wasn't excitement, and I didn't feel fulfilled. And I have to say, like, this Triggered to Alignment program, it's a 6-week program. I work on schedule with my client. So if they want to do a session week after week, great. If they feel like, let's just knock out the first 2 sessions in the first week and then go from there, sure. If they want to take a break in between to really integrate, this is their work. I'm not on a time schedule. I don't work that way because I know that when you're healing and when you're doing integrating and when you're really diving deep and you're going into uncomfortable places, you got to take the time. It's so important. So I allow my clients to take the time. If they need 2 weeks in between sessions, I'm going to give them that 2 weeks. It's not them being lazy, it's them doing the work and really sitting with it, because when we are letting go of things that we've held on to for so long, we got comfortable in the uncomfortable. And that became our armor. That became part of us, an extension of us. And that was how we were moving through life and dealing with people and situations and all of the things. So now that we're peeling it away, we've gotta get comfortable, right? We gotta get comfortable in that new suit, in that, in the one jacket instead of 5. We've gotta get comfortable in our new being and really get into it so that we can feel safe in that new space, so we can feel like we are worthy and that we, have all of these different feelings that we're allowing to emerge and come up. So while I'm working with my clients, it is a 6-week program. We are taking our time through it, or we're moving at their pace, I should say, and really just allowing the work to unfold. One thing I really emphasize on too is that my 6-week program is structured to a certain point. But because everyone is different, my program changes with them. So if you and I were to work together, it's going to look different than me and somebody else because you work differently. And so I'm moving with in flow with you. And I think that's what makes it so special is that I'm not cookie cuttering my programs. I am showing up for my client in the way that they need me to show up. And and we're working in flow with each other. And
Yeah, because each client is different, and how it's and working doing this kind of work, it looks different for everybody. Everybody has their own timetable and their own, like you said, we got to regulate, right? We got to integrate between the sessions, between the hard work, and that can look different for different people. So, that's really important. That's really cool. I love
it's
that.
really important, and it's important that us as, healers and, working within our modalities, that we show up for people in the way that they need us to. That's part of
Yes.
the healing, right? We can't
Yes.
put pressure or structure of, like, oh, it has to look like this and I have to ask these questions because we are all so different and everyone's situation is different. And it's respecting that. Um, they might have gone through a specific trauma in a childhood that led to this specific, trigger or pattern or block, and we we don't know until we start asking the question. And one session might be an hour and a half long because we're in it and we're figuring it out. And then the next session might be like, 45 to 60 minutes. You don't know. That's the beauty of it all, really.
That's really cool. So this program, it's 6 weeks. So basically it's 6 sessions.
It's 6
Uh,
sessions.
yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you. Well, how can people find you if they want to work with you on
They
this program?
go to my website. It's indrakelly.com. It's on there. I do have, like, a couple others, so if they want to, like, tap into their intuition because like I said, in the 6-week program, we work with intuition a little bit. They don't need to learn intuition to be to do this 6-week program with me, but if they are curious, I offer, like, a 4-week program that I just created. So I have an 8-week program that you know of, it's the Awaken Your Intuition, but then I'm, like, realizing not everyone wants to be psychic. But they just wanna call in their own intuition, so I shortened it, for, just, the average person that wants to dive in and get curious about how to call in their intuitive abilities. So there's different ways to work with me, whether it be a one-on-one energy healing session or working with me and doing this Triggered to Alignment, 6-session program, so
And it's all fun stuff.
yeah.
It's all fun stuff. And yeah, Indra is really gifted and very, very good. Her intuitive abilities are on point. And so I can just imagine that even going through this program is like how beautiful and just I highly, highly recommend Indra's.
Yeah, I love when I get their guides involved. It's
Yeah,
fun. It's
yeah, I
fun.
love that. And fun fact, Indra and I met in an intuition activation 12-week program where we both learned to do this. Of course, we already had this in
Yeah,
us, right? It was just one of those, if you're drawn to it, it's probably already there. So
100%. If you're drawn to it, it's already
yes.
there. If you
So
have
if you're listening to this and like this whole spirit guide and intuition is like sparking some interest in you, know that it's for you, like it's in you and it's meant for you. So if any of this sounds remotely interesting, I say follow it.
follow it. I mean, that's the little tap on your shoulder that says, "Go, go, go."
There you go.
Yeah.
It's a little trigger that's telling you
It's like
you need to do this.
it's
Yeah.
signal. It's like,
Yeah.
"Hey."
No.
Yeah. So it's all really, really great. The work that I've been doing lately, it's super fulfilling, and I feel more in alignment and more myself doing this work than I ever have, and
Yeah, me
it just
too.
brings me such excitement, and I
I'm so
love
excited
seeing
for
the
you.
transformation.
I'm so excited for you because we were such newbies, you and I, when we took
Right.
that program, we were babies,
We were
and
babies, like
just like trying to like get our feeling in the world and trying to figure this thing out. I think we both knew we had something special, and it's
yeah,
just so cool to see how we took the bull by the horns and we ran with it.
we really
We
did.
created our own thing, and
Yeah.
I love this. I
Well,
love this so
we all had these, like, intuitive abilities, and for you and I, we were drawn to it, and we wanted to learn more, and so that's what we did, like, I grew up, seeing spirit as a child. I was highly intuitive, and then when I, met Jessica and and you, and we did this program, and it just everything just kind of clicked, and it was like I was already intuitive. You were already intuitive. We just needed somebody to like coach us and bring it together. And it was like connecting of the dots. And Jessica did that so well. And then she was
yes.
like, and now you do it. I was like,
Yes, she did that really well for us. And I think one of the things that is really important to point out here is that you and I both followed that nudge. We
we did.
both were like, oh my gosh, this sounds interesting. And we went in and we did it. And that's what it takes to like get to a place where you feel so, like you just said, you are so fulfilled and you feel so in alignment with the work that you're doing. And that is what following the nudges does. So I just want to point that out for like, the people that are listening. It's like it's not gonna just happen. It's not gonna fall in your lap. I mean, sometimes we do get these opportunities that feel like they come out of left field, but I don't think they come out of left field. I think that we kind of prepare ourselves and put ourselves in this situation so that it falls nicely on our laps. But it's important for us to take action and to follow those nudges. And it's especially when you have that little spark of joy, like you hear something or you see something that like I can almost hear it. Ding, like
Yeah.
it like these little
Yes.
stars like You know? Like, they just park and you're like, "Oh my gosh, it sounds so much fun." Follow it.
Yeah.
Follow
It's that
it.
excitement. It's that
Yes.
curiosity and that excitement combination together, and then you're in it. And like you said, then things just start coming in. It's like little dings. But also because we are in alignment, right? We've listened to the dings and we've followed the little dings and the breadcrumbs and the nudges. And we're like, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes,
Yeah.
this is nice
And
too.
that's what gets us in alignment, and it
Right.
gets us closer and closer to, like, our authentic self, which
Yes.
is what we're here to do.
Yes, and then we start like our manifestations start coming in because we are in alignment. We are open. We've done the work. We know that we are worthy of it. We're and most importantly, actually this is it. We're trusting. We
Yes.
are trusting
The
every single
process.
step of the way, every process,
We're
every
trusting
little
the
ding,
process.
every little
Yes.
nudge, every little breadcrumb. We are trusting it. And that
Yeah.
when we are
Yeah.
in
And
flow.
the more we trust it, the more we trust ourselves, the more we trust our decisions, the more we trust the dings, the more we trust, like, oh, that was a ding, that was an interest. I need to follow that. The more we trust it, it moves faster
It
every
moves fast.
time. It's like everything happens faster each time. I love it.
And that's why I created the 4-week program, Awaken Your Intuition, because it is just the basics, right? It's teaching people how to call in their energy. It's teaching people how to just tap into the clear senses a little bit, right? But it's really about developing trust with your intuition. And when you develop trust with your intuition, you're starting to trust yourself a lot more because you're feeling more grounded in your body and you're actually paying attention to the little signs and dings and pings that the universe is sending you. You're more aware of it. And when you're more aware of it and you're trusting it more, that's when all the magic starts to unfold.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I
you're
love
seeing it and you're feeling it.
I love I love that you're doing this work, because we need guides in this world. We need light warriors, we need the healers to bring hope to people, right? Feeling whatever it is, the triggers, the despair, the disappointment. And a lot of people lose hope and don't know what's wrong. And so we need a lot of light warriors, I call them, right? I call us, to be doing this kind of work, to be able to spread that, and, like, have other people find their joy and find their light and trust their intuition. So I love that you're doing this work.
I think this is like a new beginning of it all too, right? And if we can teach our kids
Mm.
how to do this, right? How to listen to their intuition, how to really start to trust their intuition, they're going to trust themselves, their bodies, their thoughts. They're going to like really see the energetics of everybody else around them and like know when things are right, know when things are wrong, know when to take a left, know when to take a right, and really just follow themselves and be in alignment with themselves.
So
um
beautiful.
so
Yeah. If we
I
can do
just
this,
love this work.
if we can do this when the kids are young, oh my gosh, that's beauty right there.
That's the
That would
beauty.
be amazing.
But we're all leading in this way. I really think that there's so many people right now that are feeling the nudge. They are feeling the little tap on the shoulder to get curious about their intuition. This is something that we all have. Like you're not psychics are not like special people that have just been like, like, oh, we have these like special abilities. It's everyone has an intuitive
Mhm.
ability. We've
Yeah.
just learned how to strengthen ours. And now we
And
got to
trust
teach
it.
everybody else and trust it.
Yeah.
And now, it's just everyone can do it.
Why do you think more people are getting curious about their intuitiveness or trusting their intuition? What do you think it is?
Why? Because I think that everyone's starting to get the nudge that they can. And it's the curiosity, it's and here's the thing, like, everyone's like, "Oh, I had a feeling you'd call me. Oh my gosh, I was just thinking about you and you called me." That's intuition. Um, it's having a feeling about something that's so strong and it happening. And that's intuition, that's
Mhm.
claircognizance right
Mhm.
there. Or I had a dream and it happened. That's clairvoyant.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
there's all of these different senses I think that people are now becoming aware of. And I think it's being spoken about a lot more now than it was in the past. Had I had someone like me when I was a child, I think it would have been a whole lot different for
I
me.
would have been
Whole
all
lot
over it.
different.
If
Me
I
too.
had known about this when I was young, I would have been all over it. I would have felt more normal, you know? I just
More
felt
normal.
so
Yes.
I just felt so out of place always
Yes.
and
Yeah.
so I just never felt like I belonged until I found this work and I started doing like working on myself and clearing my blocks and learning about intuition and just really embracing it. Like it's so beautiful
It
to be there. And it took me a long time. Like I didn't start that process until gosh, 40 in my
right.
40s. So it took a really long time and man, if I had known this work existed when I was young, it's interesting. I just remember myself being like a teenager, like junior high, like 13, 14, and just feeling like there's something else. There's something else out there that's not explainable. I didn't even know I don't know, I just didn't know where to look I didn't know that if I had just gone to the
Yeah.
library and just asked somebody, asked the librarian that they might have pointed me in the right direction because I felt weird even saying the things that I would think about and the things
Yeah.
that I would see and hear. Like how do I go tell somebody? Because gosh, like I would tell my mom, she's like, "Oh, you're crazy."
I know. Are you
Okay,
kidding?
I must be making this up. I literally thought I'm making this up. I live in this la la world, and in my head, I make this life up, and it was all there.
All there. It was all there. I mean, I was like talking to spirit. I'm seeing spirit.
Yeah.
I'm, I was like having anxiety and depression. I'm like healing myself with my hands. I'm doing energy work and not even knowing. I have, a teacher in the seventh or eighth grade that told me I needed to read this intuition book. I didn't know what intuition was at 13 or 14 because no one was talking about it. And then he hands me a book and I don't know what exactly it is, so I'm not gonna read it because 'cause I'm a teenager, right?
Mhm.
And but that book could have totally changed everything at
There
such an
you go.
earlier
Tell me,
age.
your girl hearing us.
Here's a sign literally being handed to you, and I'm like, "Nope," because
Ready. I'm
not
gonna
ready.
take the high road. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
the hard way.
I'll see you in 20 years when I'm ready for it. But, like, you're right, none of the other kids were that way. So, I wasn't gonna be that way because I'm already weird, right? I'm already, like, talking to
Well,
spirit and feeling energy and doing things. I can't talk to you, you know? And I was, like, just trying to be as normal and as cool as I could
yeah.
be with the
Yeah.
kids, right?
Right.
So I'm not having these, like, conversations that I really wanted to have.
Right.
And it's so funny, just the other day, somebody asked me, like, "When did you become so deep?" I'm like, "I think I've always been deep, but
Openly.
I was so
Openly to
scared." I
yeah.
was so scared because I didn't wanna have that weird thought. I didn't want my weird thought to be wrong. I didn't want to scare somebody with these ideas, thoughts, and, feelings and stories of, like, spirit or whatever. Um, and now I'm, like, asking I don't know, like, saying things that are just like, "Do you think that, AI originally came from spiritual intelligence? Because we can talk to our guide." Like, my brain just starts working in it I don't know. I could go on for, like, ever.
Wow, that's so cool. I
But,
wanna
like,
have that conversation with you.
oh my gosh, this has been on my mind for a while now, like, where we'll talk about it later,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
like, yeah, I'm like spiritual
We might have
intelligence
to
and
have
artificial intelligence,
we might have to have another episode to talk about this stuff.
right? I think I should this is just the preview of our next
Yeah.
episode.
Yes.
Yeah, because and, our thoughts are deep because we're not in this surface 3D
Mm-mm.
realm. We're
Mm-mm.
moving within different realms and having these different thoughts. So that's a preview for the next episode.
Yes, yes, let's talk 5D, AI, and all the things. Oh my gosh, how fun.
Right? And like, if we can have artificial intelligence, why is everyone not paying attention to spiritual intelligence? And that's
Right?
us
We
connecting
don't
to
yeah.
our spirit team, our higher self, our galactic guides, and everybody else that's coming through for us.
Mhm.
I don't know. Just a thought. This is where
Mhm.
my brain goes.
Yeah, 100%. Agreed, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so fun, Indra, having you. That time flies when we're having fun,
Oh my
so
gosh, it does. Woo!
yeah.
That was fast.
Yeah, that was fast. Thank you. We'll have to have it. Okay, as always, we'll have to have you back. But this is lovely. Thank you so much for sharing your work and your gifts with the world. And guys, I'm telling you, if this interests you in the least bit, please get a hold of Indra. I will put all her info in the show notes so you can reach out to her.
That's perfect.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much.
You're very welcome. Anytime.